everyone, the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notifications down below if you haven't already.
Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. Behind me, that direction as usual, is the beautiful wagon wheel, and hopefully some wisdom up here. And good morning, Vietnam. Sorry, that was pretty weak, but that's all I got. So they said it would be fun. They said it would be the greatest journey of your life, that when you hear about it, it's all roses and unicorns and fairy dust. And what I'm talking about is the spiritual journey and the spiritual awakening that we are embarking on in this lifetime. And, you know, prior to actually, I guess, taking it seriously, and by taking it seriously, I mean being forced down this road to take it seriously. When I had heard about a spiritual journey, I always envisioned it being vastly different than what it has currently been. I thought of, sitting around in meditation, always being happy, life seemingly simple, not having to worry about things in the manner in which I used to worry about them. And while some of those elements may be completely true, the one aspect of it that I find to be absolutely false is the part that I didn't hear anything about, and that is the very challenging road that it is to get to a area of where I would consider even myself to be even slightly enlightened, I guess, at this point in time. We this in so many ways is proven to be a rite of passage, to see the mental toughness that's created while going down this road. And who the hell ever did anybody at any point in time mention to any one of you, and you can comment on this, that, oh, you're going to have to lose the one person that you've always wanted in your entire life to be your partner, and then we're going to show you what spiritual enlightenment's all about. If I knew that, it'd be like, hell no, I'm not going to do that. But as it were, and as the universe works, and as our angels and guides work behind the scenes, they decided, and I say they, but we decided, I suppose, long ago, that this is the course of action necessary to get us to where we need to go. I just had no idea that this would be the route that I'd have to take to endure something like this, to reach a place that allows you to be a better and more fulfilled, and when the veil gets lifted, I guess a happier person. Now, I suppose if I were to drill back in time a little ways and just post the devastation of the breakup, I would say that I've made some pretty good strides on this process. But at the same time, I just have to really look at it. Every day is a struggle in a different way. But I work these disciplines as hard as I can, and I lapse just like anybody else does. But the seemingly common theme each and every day is to not think about them. And when I say not think about them, that I don't know if there's ever going to come a point in time when I won't. People say that that's the goal, that once you're living in soul and you're feeling completely fulfilled about your life, that they fade into the distance and you don't think about them. I guess I haven't gotten to that point, or anywhere close for that matter. And there's been gaps in time when you don't, or when I don't think about the situation. But the one thing that I'd like to talk about that's slowly being reduced is the self-talk when I have a lot of these moments when that pop into my head about what would I say in these moments if we did meet. And I commonly go back and want to argue with her about the past and want answers. And I fully admit that is a weak spot. But what I've been doing lately to shift this is saying these things in my head, because I've been talking about making this pivot, about not waiting around for this specific person. and finding that it's a waste of time because in no way, shape, or form can I prove that she is my twin. In no way, shape, or form do I know what's on the horizon as far as us meeting again. I don't know any of that stuff. And quite frankly, none of it could be real. It could be a figment of my imagination based on a storyline that we're told with this journey. But the thing is, like, I can't deny the fact that it's still up in my head. She isn't in my life except up in my head. I'm creating this mess up here. So what I've been doing every time that these little debates in my head have started, or I start thinking about her, I say to myself, God is bringing me the perfect person. The perfect person is on my path. And I'll say these things over and over again. And I'll also say, because I believe I'm preparing myself for numerous things in my life that might cause me to react, I just say to myself, I am not going to react. And maybe again, this is another element that is understated, that when we start to do more and more discipline about not reacting in the moment, about not allowing our thoughts and our mind to kind of run wild, if we can stop those things in the moment quickly, I'm noticing that that's actually helping out in a lot of other areas in my life that I'm really not giving a lot of credit for. Instead of engaging in an argument with somebody, but whether it's my ex-wife or a friend or something like that, and I'm not saying I'm an argumentative person, but at times you get into a topic, and it's like, just you want to say shut them in your it come out of your mouth, but maybe you just say it in your mind instead. But I've noticed that the more that I teach myself to do those things in the moment with her, and like I said, she's not in my life, I'm keeping her in my life, in my head, but I've got to retrain my brain to think on that. And like I said, it's just a matter of, not a matter, it's just what I'm working with and finding that it actually works. Is God is preparing the perfect partner for me. He is preparing the perfect partner for me. I will meet her someday. And the other thing is to don't react. Don't react. And even in my mind, the conversation that I'm having with her, don't react. So just doing a little mental strength with that just to see what works. And these really seem to help kind of bring me back, help chill me out a little bit, because I still have those hypothetical arguments in my head with a person that isn't even in my freaking life. But the real estate that she has in my brain still is she owns a lot of property. If this was the game Monopoly, I think I'd own, what is it, Baltic Avenue and Mediterranean Place. Are those the two cheapest ones, where she's got basically the entire board and hotels and properties on every single one of them. So that's just kind of how it's going. But, I'm trying to turn this franchise around as slowly as I can and start buying up some properties, because I want the real estate back in my head again. And quite frankly, I'm getting to a point where I'm becoming mad at myself instead of mad at her. I'm mad at myself that it's still going like this. But here's the thing. So many people have told me I put way too much damn pressure on myself, and it's accurate. I do. And I think a lot of us are like this, because we become so frustrated with this day-to-day of them in our heads that we just, on some level, are just absolutely sick of that repetitive nature. And I put that pressure on myself to want to be different and to want to change, because I don't want to live like this. This sucks so much ass at times that it's unreal. And it forces me to even wonder a lot of the times, like, who the hell I am. And I was learning a little bit more about the dark night of the soul and watching a video on that. And it really talked about the spiritual journey isn't roses. It's not for the faint of heart. It is not for the people that it's a test of endurance from the very get-go, because of what it does to you. And to change a habit, they claim takes 21 days. Well, what the hell does it take to change an entire being of energy that used to operate for 46 years in this way that isn't sustainable? And I know at the end of the tunnel that is the underlying goal, is to reinvent the energy that we use and to be different people, because so many people, the world needs to change. It's like, no, no, your world needs to change. The world around me needs to change. And in order for that to happen, my world needs to change first. I am no good to anybody if this vessel here isn't good first. And that's another aspect of this journey that, I'm grateful for, but holy crap, it's a 15 round fight. I don't know what round we're in. Feels like 15, but it could be round 2 for all I know at this point in time. So that's one aspect of it. And something else I'd like to share. I had hinted on this a little bit in previous videos, and I didn't really know how to address it because I am just seeing some glaring similarities between the two. The narcissistic relationship that I was in prior to meeting my last partner here was really intense. She tried to use law enforcement to get even with me. Like, I mean, just sinister, just a sinister, sinister, sinister woman. But what I want to hint at is the recovery, my recovery with that. And I've noticed some incredibly harsh similarities between that detoxifying yourself from the codependent and addictive behaviors you had with the narcissist to being very similar to probably the detox that it's taking with my former partner. But I've never really wanted to lump the two in together. But at the same time, I've found both to be a very similar struggle. I found myself to be completely isolated after both. I found myself not willing to want to date at all. In fact, I went 2 years without having sex after the narcissist. 2 years. 2 years of not wanting to be touched by anybody. This now I'm going on 6 months. Quit drinking after that. Quit drinking. Again, that 2-year gap was right around the same time, the exact same time as not being intimate with anybody. And the same thing here. So I don't know for certain yet what narcissistic abuse does to the human psyche. I know what it's done to me, and it's eerily similar to what I'm going through now with my partner. And I don't know necessarily where I'm going with this point, but a lot of people have brought up in threads and in twin flame communities what I'm talking about and how similar those two animals are, that it takes a type of kind of getting beat down on an emotional level. And if with personalities that are selfish, and let's be honest, if our partners are, similar to how they define masculine traits, they're very egoic, they are self-centered, they're thinking about themselves first, they're all caught up in, kind of the thrill of the hunt, the kill, so to speak. And a lot of times that often gets confused with narcissistic personalities. But I don't know. I'm just really noticing a lot of parallels with that, and it's kind of frightening again because it means that my old self really was or is attracted to that kind of personality and falls victim to that oftentimes. I don't know if it's my empathic nature. I don't know if it's my wanting to think I can fix somebody. But at the same time, when I flip these mirrors around, I'm just realizing that I need to fix myself. I need to fill my own cup first. There is no way in hell I can change anybody except me. And I need to stop being such a fool in watching people's actions match their words instead of believing blindly that they are going to follow through with what they say. And then, more importantly, healthy boundaries beyond that, or healthy boundaries first, I guess, actually wouldn't lead you to the second part. Establishing healthy boundaries first and being firm in those and being completely okay in those. Because when those boundaries are crossed, I would have the hardest time saying, all right, I'm out, goodbye. My partner, my most recent one, the first time that she accused me of not being faithful to her, I should have at that moment in time stopped the dating cycle because it was early. It was a month then. And accused me just because my text messages, she claimed, were canned responses. And it's like, I just met you and I'm still trying to feel this whole thing out. That was what I said to her. Like, I don't, like I don't know your personality well enough to know necessarily how to respond, but she was claiming my responses were canned and that I must be talking to somebody else. A healthy version of me, or I guess the version that I'm trying to migrate into, would have said to her in that moment, sorry, you're insecure. My last person I was with, not only would she accuse me of cheating on her, she would be the one out doing it because I know I'm not. So, as trying it as hard as this is, and I'm going to go back to my point earlier about shedding old energy, it's shedding old ways of thinking. And, I look back on it, it's like, have I really lost anything? I've lost my old bad habits, my old bad ways, my old ways that didn't work. I'm losing those. Would I want to pick a easier route? What's the easier route? I don't have these qualities instilled in me yet, and it's a work in progress, and it's a work through. But I'm going to guess that this isolation, because I remember when I came out of kind of that isolation before, I was strong, I was independent, I was flying pretty high, feeling pretty good about myself. I went 2 years without having sex. I mean, that's fucking remarkable in 2023. It really is. That's a feat. And it wasn't because of lack of opportunity. I'll tell you, I have never in my life seen women react the way they reacted when they get rejected by when I would reject them and say, no, I don't want to date. No, I don't want to go home with you. I've never seen, women must not get told no a whole lot or something. And again, this might offend somebody, but I'm not trying to. I'm just saying the reaction on their face, it's like the first time they've ever heard a guy say, no, I don't want to hook up with you. I was standing in my power, but then I got back into a relationship again with somebody who was insecure, who had some narcissistic traits. I don't think she has a full-blown personality disorder, and that's why I keep leaning on this pivot now about, maybe she just, what did they call that? A bump mate or a bump soulmate? Somebody to bump you into where you need to be, not your true twin. So, I'm just gonna hold out on this romantic aspect of maybe my twin is out there and I haven't met her yet. Now, does that mean I get to go through the bubble love and the separation phase? I fucking hope not. But at the same time, I wouldn't be ready to meet this beautiful individual with my old self. So I suppose that is the type of thing that keeps me hanging on and driving me forward and shedding this old way of thinking. Because back to my point earlier, the arguments I'm still having in my head with her, it's old Kevin arguing old points about a time that's gone by, about an individual that's not even in my life. Now, whose fucking fault is that? Me. So I got to take some ownership of that. This is all self-induced. It's self-induced pain. It's self-induced hell. It is us at war with us, me at war with me. And I got to send in some reinforcements on this one. So anyway, Jesus got 18 minutes long. I hope all of you are doing very well on this Tuesday. Keep your energies in check. I know that the last 3 days, especially since the time change, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, has been fighting through this. Not that this is going to sound counterintuitive. I don't feel tired. I feel just energetically kind of exhausted on autopilot in a way. So, check yourself with that. Be kind with yourself. Eat well. Eat healthy. Meditate. Love yourself. And God is your perfect partner is on their way to you. Keep working on you. Okay? Don't react. All right. Love you guys.